This is the week that Connecticut reached 10,000 people who have died COVID-related deaths. That's over the course of about 22 and a half months, just shy of 2 years. In that time, we went from having one of the highest death rates in the country to now being squarely in the middle of the pack at about 28 deaths per 10,000 people. So some things have changed, but some haven't. The single greatest risk factor for COVID death has been age. Of those 10,000 deaths, look at this, over 3/4 were in people age 70 and up. Well over half were in people at least 80 years old. In fact, 1/4 of all of those deaths we saw happen in just that 80-plus group and in just 85 days from our first death, from March to June of 2020. There's been a lot of criticism of our state for failing to adequately protect that age group, and you can see why. Since then, though, we've made some progress, and it's mostly been because of vaccines. The first one was administered in mid-December of 2020, and it caused a bit of a shift in the demographics. Now, here behind me, I separated total deaths by age group from before that first vaccine in the blue to afterwards in orange. There's a lot to note here. First things first, of all the deaths in young people, they were so low, they literally didn't show up. There's been only 7 deaths in people younger than 20 and 32 deaths in people younger than the age of 30. Second, this graphic may lead you to believe the vaccines didn't work, but you have to remember we've been living with the vaccines for a much larger portion of the pandemic, which is why most age groups have seen more deaths after the vaccine rolled out. But look who hasn't. People over the age of 70 and 80. Vaccines really knocked down their mortality in the most important group here. So much so that people age 80 and up used to make up 60% of all the COVID-related deaths in our state. But as I said before, we've managed to drop that to 53%. The 70 to 79-year-old age group has been fairly stable. But because these groups have a smaller portion of the pie, almost all of the younger groups are now making up a slightly larger portion of the deaths, a trend that started almost immediately once the vaccines became available in December of 2020. And look, it even seems to have picked up the pace a little bit, especially people in their 60s once the Omicron wave started. I'm Tim Lammers, Fox 61 News.